morning, good morning, good morning. How is day 3 of Deeper Learning treating you all? Woo! Thank you, Dr. Eric Shigayla. Woo! How was exhibition? Woo! Yes, I got to see so many things. There were squid dissections, there were rap performances, there was an emotions wheel, so many amazing things. So thank you so much for taking the time to not only learn together yesterday, but to actually share your learning with other beautiful humans who really just want to pour into you and learn from one another. And you know what? We don't have to wait until we're at a conference to do that sort of thing. Those are things we can do back in our own context. So I know exhibition went well because I got to check it out. How did last night go? What did y'all get into? Ooh, I heard trouble. I heard so good. What did you do? Where'd you go? I heard a lot of karaoke's. I'm really offended that I was not invited, but it's okay. Okay, so karaoke, what else? Lots of happy hours, okay. How many of you went to one happy hour at least? One of the socials, okay. Who went to 2? Who went to 3? I definitely went to 3. It's important to support all the organizations that are having happy hours. Did anybody go dancing last night? Did anybody go dancing? Up there? Yes, where did you go? The lamplighter, okay, nice. Okay, you got a lot of support here for you going to the lamplighter. All right, okay. Well, as we are waiting for folks to trickle in, I'm just gonna tell you a quick filler story about this dress. Okay, so I've been getting a lot of compliments on this dress, so let me tell you the story. I think it was late fall, early winter. I was like, I'm gonna buy this dress and I'm gonna wear it on a first date with a very special person. So I got it, days went by, I would look at the dress like, girl, don't worry, we're gonna go out, it's gonna be great. Weeks went by, months went by. It's April, y'all. So I finally said, it's gonna get too hot outside for me to justify wearing a sweater dress. So I decided that why wait? I'm the director of liberation. I'm all about being free. Why wait for a special date to wear the dress? I can wear it with all of you special people. So here we are. Sometimes you just can't wait for the date to happen. All right, so I'm so honored for our closing because we have 2 phenomenal human beings whose lives center on joy and laughter and well-being, and that is something that we need as educators more than anything right now. And so we're gonna try something new that we've never done at Deeper Learning. We're gonna have our first comedy set. And so I already don't have the clicker. I don't know how I lost it that fast, y'all. Okay, thank you so much. So some of you may follow Melanin B on Instagram. If you don't, you definitely should. But that is how I discovered her for myself. I was scrolling through Instagram, and she has one of her characters is Mama Melanin, and she was reading her fictitious son, Manifestation High Vibration, Dupree Star C. Jackson. If you know, you know. And anyway, that just began a relationship between she and I that she did not know about, where she just brought so much joy and laughter into my Instagram feed. And so I said, I'm a manifester. I manifest all the time. I remember when Ricardo Lagos was president of Chile, and he was at the UN, and I manifested that I was going to meet him, and I met him, and I kissed him on the cheek. It was not consensual. And then I also manifested meeting Obama. When he got elected, I was like, I know I'm going to meet him. A few years later, I met him, kissed him on the cheek as well, not consensual. So, like, I'm a manifester. Well, except I haven't been able to manifest a partner, but that's, that takes deeper inner work. I got to, do some more healing around that. But I was like, I know that I can get Melanin to be our special comedian for today. So she's going to do a 10-minute set. It's going to be PGs for those of you who are worried. It'll be PG. She does have non-PG comedy sets that you could check out too. Oh, okay. Somebody wants that. But today we're keeping it education friendly. So please welcome to the stage my sister from another mister, Melanin B.
Thank Yes, love and laughter. Love and laughter. How y'all healing? Yes. Thank you for that high vibrational welcoming. That was nice. I've been manifesting too. My husband is on my vision board as well. So this is gonna be the moon cycle. He comes into fruition. Yes. Deeper Learning 2025. Yes. So yes, I'm Melanin B. I am a comedian, edutainer, and a laugh yogi. And I had the honor and privilege of doing a den talk with the fabulous Michelle, talking about the hilarious power of laughter for educators and students. Anybody ever heard about laughter yoga? Because I want to start right now with just some laughter yoga. Just get our giggle on. Can we do that? All right, go ahead. We're going to do a hilarious exercise that I've created. It's called Inhale Love, Exhale Laughter. We're going to breathe in deeply through our nostrils. We're going to fill up our lungs, allow our bellies to expand, hold for 3 seconds, and then just joyfully exhale with. Okay, can we do that? All right, let's go. Let's breathe in deeply through our nostrils. Filling up our lungs, allowing our bellies to expand, holding for 3 seconds. And now let's exhale with. Yes, right. Hilarious, right? I know, you never thought that you'd just be laughing for no reason, but it's always a reason. Laughter is the best medicine. Get your giggle on. Educators, we gotta stress less and laugh more. We gotta stress less and laugh more because these Gen Z, these new children, they like Kendricks. They not like us. They not like us. No, I'm a millennial. I'm a millennial. Proud to be 40 in a couple of months. Where the millennials at? Right. Yeah. School was real different for us. School was real different. But I want to, in the spirit of everything that's going on, give a shout out to my favorite teacher. She was my third grade teacher, Miss Tapscott. We ended up becoming so close. Yeah, give a shout out to Miss Tapscott. Yes, she ended up coming to my baby shower. That's how close, yeah, we became. We were like friends in real life. And it was something else because she held space for me as a little girl. I wasn't always like this. I was roguish. I was bad. I was mischievous, but she seen something in me. Every note she sent home to my mom about me talking too much led me to where I'm at today. Yes, I was a class clown, but she knew it was going to take me places. Every note I had sent home is now in a frame at home on the wall. I have a mural. No. But no, it's so important to have a good, healthy relationship with your students. You know, Miss Tapscott, she was amazing. She was actually the first white woman I ever seen with a big booty. So it gave me mothering energy, real comforting. Yes, I love her. I love her. And she was really nice. I remember she gave me her phone number. And she was like, if you ever need anything, call me. It was all, high vibrational. She was like, if you ever need anything, call me. And I did sometimes. Star 67. Y'all know about that star 67? Right? Okay. Millennials, we in the building. Yeah. So, and then she still came to my baby shower. So. But it was crazy because I remember one time I forgot to dial star 67 and I hung up immediately. And then she called back and said, Brittany, is your mom there? I said, how do you know who is this? What is Yeah, so then the next day I just walked in class calmly, like I wasn't just playing on her phone all night before. And she's like, I think we need to talk. I was like, about? It was not me. It was not me. But no, but schooling now is so different. Technology is so different. It's like, I was wearing the world as Carmen Sandiego. Right. Now they got virtual classes, your teachers and IT techs. It's like we're both. But it's so different though. You cannot miss a class anymore though. Like you miss a school back then, it's done. Now you got to catch up. It's virtual. It's on Zoom. It's in an email. It's so different. Back in the day when you would tell, the teacher would tell you, hey, be quiet. I'm going to call your mom. You have some slight fear. You was like, you know what? Let me sit down. Okay, Miss Tapscott. I'm going to sit down. Now they was like, I'm on FaceTime with her right now. If you need to talk to her, she's right here. and that's triggering. It's like, so you on FaceTime in my class, like, but I came when it was like Motorola's just came out, the Snake game, right? We couldn't hide them big phones, we they were like cinder blocks. But now, the cell phones are just everywhere. I have a son, he's 14. I have a son, I don't know how I didn't fill out a permission slip to be a parent. So I don't know how I got here, but I'm here. No, but like he wear those ear pods all day. And I'll be like, oh my goodness, wanting a little microwave. It's just going on all day. But to me, I feel like that's right there is so easy for them to just like cheat. I don't like to put the energy. I ain't never said it to my son because he ain't me. He's better than me. I love that he grew up like, responsibly. I've been healing. Because let me as a millennial had a little earpod, I would have had all A's academically. I be some pride sometimes at my son. You don't got all A's? Like, what are y'all doing? No. But they're responsible. He's responsible. I love it though. I love it. Yes. I want to ask a question though. Any Gen X teachers in the okay, I'm kind of sure. Right, well, that's what's up. Gen X teachers, yeah. Like you raising your hand, he like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, it's different, now seeing millennial teachers, like seeing my friends I grew up with. I'm like, are you really qualified? Because growing up as a millennial, when we think about teachers, we think about more Gen X, more structured. Millennials, we kind of be freestyling through life. We in therapy, healing, trying to find our soft life. And then now we got millennial teachers. Crazy, right? No, but I love it. Being an entrepreneur is something else. Leaving the 9 to 5 to do a 24/7. It's like, it's a lot. It's kind of like what a teacher is too, because even when you clock out, it's never really done. It's beautiful. That's why we're about to go ahead right now and hug ourselves and laugh. Yeah, right. Gotcha. You got to laugh. You got to laugh because you're like, did I really sign up for this? And you did. And you did. But it's so important. A teacher's job is amazing. School is like a second home, to some of these students. So being able to hold, safe space for them to be themselves, even with their smart mouths, is something else. The eighth graders, they different. They throat chakras are really active. Like Michelle said, I have a character that I created, Mama Melanin. She has a son named Manifestation Higher Vibration, the priest R.C. Johnson. Yes, and she always tell him to get balanced, and rooted in his Wakanda. You better watch your mouth chakra. But that's something else, the evolution of millennial parenting. And I wanted to trickle over into, into school as well, because we telling the children we still love them, but we just standing on, teacher business. So they better get rooted in their Wakanda, and tell them they better watch their throat chakra, because you're not about to get on my nervous system chakra. I did not reincarnate to be a teacher for you to talk back. It's so important. But I want to go ahead and give thanks up to Michelle again for having me up here today. Shout out to Deeper Learning 25. It's been a whole vibe. All the educators, shout out to the students. It's been amazing. I want y'all to go ahead and keep clapping as Michelle's about to come back on the stage. We got our keynote coming up. We're about to continue to have a hilarious good time. And once again, I'm Melanin B. Laugh or stay.
Thank you. Wait, I really want to see everybody do that self-hug laugh. So go ahead, hug yourselves. And on the count of 3, and of course it always starts off as a fake laugh, but it always ends in a real one. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. He's getting all y'all on camera too. This is great. You're gonna love the way you look. Thank you so much. Let's give Melanin B one more round of applause for hanging out. And so I was on Instagram again. Our president is going to think all I do is just like scroll Instagram. But I was on Instagram, and that is how I became connected with Dr. Heather Michelle, because she is the founder of Teachers of Color Matter. And so she is always putting out really positive, uplifting content, but also really informational and inspirational. So it's you're learning through what she posts, but also finding ways to protect your own healing. And I've ordered her affirmation cards, all the things. And then we connected on Instagram, then connected on Zoom. And I'm just so honored that we have an opportunity to have a closing keynote that's really going to be focused on joy and well-being. So I would love for you to give a warm welcome to Director of the Residency Lab and founder of Teachers of Color Matter, Dr. Heather Michelle.
I'm good. I don't think I need that. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm super excited to be here. Pedagogy is Play, Deeper Learning 2025. And I'm super excited to be here because the Deeper Learning Conference asked me to be the closer. And do you know what that means? I get the last word. And I'm super excited because I have a special message for all of you, and I can't wait to impart it because my words are the last words that you're going to take into your respective classrooms and back to your school sites. They're going to carry as you move in to the end of the school year. And I'm going to start my presentation today, my keynote today, with a story. And it's the story of my first year in the teaching profession. And as I unpack my story, I want you to think about your first year in teaching. And I want you to think about where is there common ground between what I'm going to share and perhaps some of the experiences that you had. And maybe that common ground is those overalls I'm wearing. Okay? It's too bad the overalls are having a moment because this picture ruined it for me. But this is me. It's 2001, 24 years ago. And I'm a Teach for America teacher. Any other Teach for America teachers out there? No other? Oh, thank you. Yes, Teach for America. So I'm a Teach for America teacher. I was placed at Clemente Martinez in Houston, Texas. Grew up in Olympia, Washington. Moved to Houston, Texas. I taught second graders. This is my first group of second grade students. I taught first and second grade my entire career. And when I think back on that time, the challenges were real, right? Like any first year teacher. And there were some specific things that really stood out. And the first challenge that stood out is that essentially when you're a teacher, you are planning for a 6-hour presentation on a daily basis. You may be pulling small groups, you may be co-teaching, you may be having a project-based moment in the back, but you're essentially facilitating a 6-hour presentation on a daily basis. And that first year in the classroom, there's no way to get through that except to double down and move through it, right? And so for that first year, what it meant for me, staying late, 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night in the classroom, leaving, grabbing a Tex-Mex burrito on the way home, going home, shoring up at my kitchen table, getting those TEs out, and pouring my heart into those lessons, everything that I had learned that day, trying to implement it the next day. Can I get an amen? Thank you, right? That first year, there's nothing like that. At the end, you are emotionally, physically, mentally spent. There's nothing like that. The second challenge I want to unpack is working with the parents and understanding parent-family partnerships. I didn't have any teacher preparation as a Teach for America teacher. You're cold in the classroom. No one told me about how to leverage relationships with parents, with the community. That's half of it. No one told me that. And as I moved my way through that first year in the classroom, it got to be January. And everyone said, January, it's going to be great. Like they learn from you. By the time January hits, everyone understands their expectations. You're doing what you're supposed to do. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Well, January came, and I was still having problems in the classroom. And I remember there was one day, I lined up all my second graders, crisscross applesauce, underneath that whiteboard. I got the information cards from my parents, and I called every single one of those families, 24. It was 1:30 in the afternoon. And at the end of the day, I had 10 families outside saying, why did you wait so long? Like, what can we do to help you? How can we help? We're here. This is part of a community. This is part of a teamwork effort, right? It's those things as a first-year teacher that you just learn in the moment as you're doing it. The last thing I want to share with you, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with teaching, but I think it's a real experience for a lot of new teachers, is that I was in debt. When you choose to be a teacher, you often have to take a significant amount of time where there's no income coming in. Student teaching, you're not getting paid student teaching, right? I had moved from Olympia, Washington to Houston, Texas. There was about 4 or 5 months where I wasn't pulling any money in. I had to get a new place in Houston, buy a new car. I accrued a lot of debt that first year. So much so that when I went to go furnish my apartment, I couldn't afford the furniture, right? Didn't have the money. That first year, I bought 3 things for my apartment. A rainbow rug for my bathroom, a mattress. I remember I splurged on that mattress. Put it right there on the floor. And a kitchen table from IKEA. Those are the 3 pieces of furniture I had. And every day, I walked into that empty apartment with its cute parquet flooring and its built-in shelves, and it was empty. And I put the artwork from my students up on the walls to remind me what I was doing, the impact I was having, and why I was here in this moment. But it wasn't all bad, and I also want to share the wins with you, right? Because I had wins. I'm still in education 24 years later, fighting for what I believe in. So what were some of the wins that I had, right? First win is I like to call it my podium moment. And it was a lesson like any other lesson, teaching my second graders. It was a lesson on symmetry, something relatively easy for second graders to get. And I remember I had gone to the back of the room to transfer my ELA materials and pick up my math materials. And as I was walking to the front of the room, I noticed something. It was quiet, like real quiet. And I looked at the students, and they were just looking back at me. They weren't on timeout. I wasn't on timeout. They weren't scared. They were just looking at me. And in that moment, I just wanted to relish that moment because it felt like it was the first time they had recognized me as their teacher. I was their teacher. I didn't have to fight for airtime. I didn't have to sing and dance. They were just waiting for me to teach them. And it was as if I was walking in slow motion to the front of the room. And when I got to the front of the room, it was like the sun was pouring down upon me from the heavens. And I was like, yes, I can do this. And it was those small moments that I was able to connect over time that helped me get through that first year, right? Second win. And this win was more about a mantra that I internalized than it was that something actually happened in the classroom. I don't know if you have a time in your life when you remember a certain album that you played, or really just a track or a CD or an album just really typified that part of your life. Well, for me, my first year of teaching, it was the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Yes! Yes! Everything is everything. What it's meant to be will be. After winter, must come spring. Change it comes eventually. Oh wait. You guys, that track. Anyway, that whole album, it was literally the only CD I had in my car. I would listen to that CD every single time I went to work, when I came home. Every single song on that CD is amazing, right? But that song and that specific chorus line, I would say that to myself all the time. After winter must come spring. After winter must come spring. After winter must come spring. I would say it as I was interacting with the nurse who never sent anyone home when they were sick. I would say it as I was talking to my principal who was unsupportive. I would say it as I was lesson planning till 8 or 9 o'clock at night. After winter must come spring. What that meant to me is that this year will come to an end. And at that point, I will be a better teacher than I currently am in this moment. I will have evolved. I will have grown. And the year will be over. And at that point, I can take everything that I've learned in this moment and pour it into the next year. After winter must come spring, right? The last one I want to share with you is a learner's creed. And it was a school-wide mandate, 2001, things were hard back in 2001 in education. School mandate, everyone had to do a learner's creed, and they gave me a learner's creed, and I was like, this is whack, I'm not doing this. A learner's creed, it needs to be authentic. It needs to come from the heart, right? So I ended up writing my own learner's creed. And how it went was the kids would come in, as soon as they heard the bell ring, they would recite their learner's creed, and then they would do a clap, and then it was supposed to be quiet, right? So I want you to humor me. I want you to read the learner's creed with me. Of course, it's second grade, so there's hand motions. I'm going to do the hand motions. Let's just take it back to 2001, and I want you to read it with me. Okay, I'm going to start you off. I believe. Keep on going. I'm as tall as a tree. Yes! Man, when my kids said that, I thought I was Jaime Escalante, man. I was like, I wrote that for my students, but I felt it every morning. I needed it too. I was like, I'm going to draw inspiration from this. Yes, we are powerful. Yes, we will read. We will write, right? I did that for myself. And so it was these times, these ones that helped me move through that first year in the classroom. And so I started teaching in 2001. And as the years progressed, I have to tell you that I started to feel a little less gracious towards my students. I started to feel a little bit more exhausted. I started to feel a little bit less open to the community I was serving, to my colleagues. And I reached a point in 2014 where I was burnt out. I was exhausted. I started to feel a lot of shame around that. Because how does a teacher super excited about reaching students, addressing issues in equity in the classroom, end up not wanting to do it anymore and being burned out and having a lot of shame and disappointment around that and feeling like, man, I'm disappointing myself, I'm disappointing my community. And I didn't want to leave, but I just didn't see any other way. It wasn't good for me, it wasn't sustainable the way I was operating, and it definitely wasn't good for the students. And so in 2014, I left. It took me 5 years of soul searching to figure out what happened. And what does happen? What does happen when teachers, they spend money, time, energy in becoming credentialed, only to arrive at a point in their career where it's just not working anymore. They don't have the drive they used to have. What happens? I've spent the last 10 years researching, interviewing, asking, studying why teachers leave the profession, but more importantly, why they stay. And today, I'm going to share with you the secret sauce. Clap 2 times if you want to hear about the secret sauce. 3 times if you want to hear about the secret sauce. Y'all not ready for the secret sauce. Y'all not ready for the secret sauce, because before we get to the secret sauce, you need to understand something very profound. You need to understand something, that teaching is a relationship, period. It's a relationship. We have a relationship with the teaching profession, okay? And sometimes that relationship can be healthy, right? You show up, you're doing your job, you understand the assignment, the students show up, they're doing their job, they understand the assignment, and you're like, oh, okay, this feels healthy. Don't need to clarify boundaries, don't need to clarify expectations, everyone's just kind of cruising along. I've had years like that, right? Healthy relationship with the teaching profession. Sometimes, though, you have a year that feels like, oof, this doesn't feel very healthy. This feels a little, this is an unhealthy relationship with the teaching profession. Okay, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I need to understand what my level of commitment is. I need to understand where my boundaries fall. I need to be clear on my expectations. And maybe there's something that's going on with you personally that's showing up in the classroom, right? So how can we nurture that relationship so that you can show up in the best way that you know how? And then sometimes it's the students. Oftentimes it's the students that come in and they have their own issues, their own challenges. And you have to help them get clear on their boundaries and what they're supposed to be doing, right? Things like, we're going to respect each other in this classroom. This is how we're going to collaborate. This is how we're going to interact, right? And sometimes you have a year that's kind of like that toxic family member. Everybody's got that family member, that auntie, that tia that's a little bit rogue, does their own thing. And you have to say, look, you have to knock before you come in the house. I don't need to know all your business, right? When you have a toxic relationship, some years they show up and it's like, oh, you got to double down. You have to re-communicate your expectations, your level of commitment, clarify what you're here to do. And you got to communicate that to your students, right? You have to help them understand, look, this is what we're here to do. This is how we're going to interact with each other. This is how we're going to treat each other. And sometimes you have to do that not just with the kids, but with the adults that you work with, okay? Teaching is a relationship. And just like any relationship, it needs to be nurtured. And just like any relationship, it's going to have highs and it's going to have lows. The highs I like to call your mountaintop moments. Mountaintop moments in education. This is where you're designing lessons, you're putting them down, you're teaching them, the students are picking them up, things are going well, people are collaborating, you got problem solving over here. You know, you can see how your students are going to impact the world and you're so happy to be a part of it. Everything's going well. And you're like, yes, I was made to do this. I belong here. This is my purpose. I'm living out what I was meant to do. Those are your mountaintop moments. And just like any relationship, you're going to have low moments. And I like to call those the valleys. You're going to have moments in your career where you're so excited about creating a lesson, you put all this energy into it, and you offer it to your students, and they're just like, I'm not really feeling this. This isn't really what I want to do, right? And you're super pumped, and you put all this energy to it, and it's lying flat. And then you begin to think, well, am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be doing this? And even, do I belong here? Am I living out my purpose? Right? Okay, teaching is a relationship. It's going to have its highs, it's going to have its lows. Oftentimes it's going to be like this. And bringing that perspective so that you can be in here more like this, right? So you can relish in those high moments, but also understand there's going to be low, but that's okay because you're going to move up into the high, right? Okay, so bringing that perspective. Now we're ready for the secret sauce. Okay. 2 claps if you're ready for the secret sauce. 3 claps if you're ready for the secret sauce. Yes. Okay, the secret sauce has 3 ingredients. Community, wellness, and joy. Community, wellness, and joy. Let's get into it. First, community. And now I know I don't have to say a lot about community because if there is one thing that has been built at the Deeper Learning Conference, it is community. Yes, yes. I mean, I have been engaging in the workshops, the deeper dives. People are showing up authentically here. They're giving their best selves. People are evolving. You're developing, changing. You're going to go back to your respective context, and you're just going to be a different teacher. I mean, I can already see that that's part of what happens in this space. And I'm so blessed that I get to see it, and I'm so excited for all of you that you get to be here and sharing that. But I want to add a couple of things to this conversation in terms of community, because what I'm more concerned with is the community that you have back home, the people that you interact with on a daily basis back there, right, in your school site, your friends, your coworkers. And I want to add just 2 additional points. The first point is that teaching is hard, right? We already know that. But it's harder if you're an innovator. Any innovators in the house? Oh, wow. Oh, I should see more hands than that. We are innovating at the Deeper Learning Conference. Thank you. Okay. If you're an innovator, if you are a disruptor, if you are doing something, if you are pushing back on the structures of education that have been here since the beginning of this country, that's going to be hard. That is going to be hard work, and you cannot do it alone. You need a community, and you need to be intentional about that community, okay? I want to encourage you to do that. Excuse me. If you are an educator that aligns themselves with equity work, social justice, any equity warriors in the house? Yes. If you align yourself, if that's your purpose in education, if that's what drives you, if you're in education because you align yourself with social justice and you believe that education is a profound way to make an impact on the issues that you care about, that's an additional level of intention that you're going to need community for. You're not just in the game because you like kids. You're not just in the game because you like math. No, you're here for specific intention. And that specific intention needs community, okay? You're going to need people to be those possibility models. You're going to need people in your circle that are aspiring and doing the things that you want to do. You're going to need people that you can borrow motivation from. You're going to need people that are like, yes, I don't know what you're talking about, but let's do it. It doesn't matter if it works or not. Let's just do it. I'm here for you, and I'm here for this, and I believe in what you're doing. That's the community that you're going to need. And so the way I want to conceptualize this for you is with this idea of board of directors. And in the literature, it's talked about in terms of like a microculture. But the thing I like about the board of directors is that it's easy to visualize. You can visualize a board of directors. And I want you to think about really manifesting, each of you, your own board of directors, a small table where people come that you have invited that are here for you and your vision and what you're doing in education. These are your ride or die teacher colleagues. These are people that hold you accountable. These are people that you can talk to when you've had a bad day, but you can also talk to them to celebrate, right? The people that you can celebrate with. You can be like, all my students, they're doing so amazing. That one group that was really struggling in reading, they're nailing it. And that they're going to celebrate with you. Okay? And so I want you to think about that small group. And I want you to think about who would you invite. And I want to give you an opportunity to lean in to your community here at the Deeper Learning Conference. And so take for a second, get out your phone, and I want you to scan this QR code. And I want you to download the picture. And I want you to send it to someone that you want to invite to your board of directors. Who's going to be on your team? Maybe there's someone here at the Deeper Learning Conference. Maybe you got several people on your board of directors here at the Deeper Learning Conference. Maybe you just drop that image in the group chat and send it out to everyone. And what's great about having a board of directors is when you have your admin come up to you and be like, hey, do you mind if coaching the basketball? You mind coaching basketball, coaching volleyball? You can be like, have you talked to the board of directors? I got to talk to the board of directors before I can make that decision, right? Those people are your sounding board. Okay, I see some smiles in the audience. It feels good to send someone this image, but it also feels good to receive it. right? Okay, community. Second one, wellness. Now, wellness, if you've been following me or interacted with any of my offerings, wellness is my jam. I love talking about wellness, especially in education. And the first thing I want to say is that wellness is personal. Okay, what works for me isn't going to work for everyone. My go-tos are exercise, affirmations, reflection, journal work. It's not going to be like that for everyone, right? I remember listening to a Michelle Obama interview. I don't know if you've listened to any Michelle Obama interviews, sooner or later she gets talking about how she was knitting during the COVID pandemic, and she got her knitting things out and clickety-clack, and it, relaxes the nervous system. And I was like, I'm going to be a knitter. My daughter bought all this knitting stuff for Mother's Day, and I'm like, I'm doing it. And yes, I did learn how to knit, but I was like, my stitches were always crooked. It didn't really quite work out. And I would say, okay, I'm going to knit before I go to bed. I'll relax. It'll be great. No, I was so stressed out. Like my stomach hurt. I was like, this is so frustrating. It's not working. The knitting isn't working. So you have to pick what works for you. You have to pick what works for you. And it's going to take a little bit of reflection, a little bit of like, okay, let me try this on. Let me see how this works, right? And so the second thing I want to say about wellness is that there's this myth that if you have big emotions like overwhelm, anxiety, depression, you need to take big action to address those things. And I'm here to tell you it's not the big actions. It's the small moments over time that really have the biggest impact. Okay? So when we're thinking about those big emotions, you don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to go therapy forever. Although, if you are in therapy, keep going to therapy. Amen. Amen on that. Amen on therapy. Therapy moment right there. But you don't need to overhaul your lifestyle. It honestly is small drops in the bucket over time that make the biggest impact. And so really thinking about how can we integrate small moments of time throughout our day. And one of the things that I continually preach is this idea of 5 minutes. You give 6+ hours to your students, 4+ hours to your partner or your family life if you have that. Everyone deserves 5 minutes. And if you can get 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, 5 minutes is 5 minutes. Okay? Small drops in the bucket over time. And like any lifestyle change, it's about getting it done, not making it perfect. Some days you're going to get it right, some days you're not. That's just the nature of it. On the days you don't, get back in the bandwagon the next day. Okay? And so I want to take a moment and really lean into wellness. You may have noticed on your chair when you sat down, there was an affirmation card. Okay, that's my gift to you. Take those affirmations, internalize them. On the other side of the affirmation card is, or should be, a small vial of bubbles. So get your bubbles out. Get that ready. Okay, get your bubbles out nice and juicy. Get that vial ready. And we're going to spend some time blowing bubbles. And the reason why we're doing this, okay, hold on a second. Now, wait a second. Okay, I see some people aren't following directions here in the audience. Okay, the reason why we're going to do and blow some bubbles is it allows us to spend some time on breath work without not actually spending time on breath work. Okay, it's like my sneaky way of getting us to do some deep breaths. Plus, bubbles are mindfulness. Bubbles lean into mindfulness. They lean into joy. So having that bubbles, no matter what age you are, it kind of brings you into the moment. Okay? So what I want to do is we're going to breathe in on a count of 5. And when you exhale, you're going to exhale blowing out the bubbles. Okay? And this is easiest if you stand up. Stand up, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to, you can blow up, okay? So we're gonna, we're gonna do a count of 5. So breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Okay, breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. One last time. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale. Oh my gosh, just watching you brings so much joy and happiness to me. And I see so many smiles on your faces. What a little bubble moment can do. Right? Mindfulness, joy, all in one little tiny bottle. Okay, I'm going to have you sit back down. Oh, nice. Okay, and we're going to move into a breathwork exercise that's a little bit more intentional. And the reason why I always try to bring breathwork into my conversations, into my wellness spaces, is that breathwork is so accessible, right? You can be anyone and engage in breathwork. We have to breathe anyway. Like, let's just add a little bit of intention into that, into breathing, right? So what I would like for you to do is we're going to do a quick little body scan. Go ahead and relax in the chair that you are sitting in. Okay. And we're going to stop. We're going to start at the top of your head. So you can relax your eyebrows and your forehead. A lot of times, unknowingly, we have a lot of stress that kind of plants itself right there. Relax your cheekbones. Let your jaw kind of fall and relax more into your face. If it feels comfortable, you can let your arms fall to the side or place them on top of your lap. Take a deep breath. Feel the back of your chair in the back of your spine. Feel the solidness of your feet on the floor. I'm going to lead you through a breathing activity of a few counts, and then I'm going to give you 1 minute to kind of just breathe on your own. So breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to give you a minute to sit with that and breathe on your own. I'm going to invite you to open your eyes. Welcome yourself back to this afternoon, the sun, your fellow friends of the Deeper Learning Conference. I see a lot of relaxed faces and a sense of peace. I want to remind you that that activity took less than 3 minutes. And kind of reflect on how you feel after you do it. Hopefully a sense of peace. I see some yawns in the background, so I know we hit the mark in relaxation. Okay, your body, your teaching person, your body wants that peace, needs that peace. Especially when we're talking about developing that nurturing that relationship with the teaching profession. Okay, so we've talked about community. We've talked about wellness. Our third one is joy. Yes, we arrived at joy. And joy, I'm so excited that the theme of the Deeper Learning Conference this year is pedagogy is play, because joy and play go hand in hand. And there are some things that I've learned in 24 years in the game in education, and that is if you do not have joy and lean into joy and intentionally bring joy into your practice, this work is not sustainable. It's not sustainable as an equity warrior. It's not sustainable as a disruptor. It's not sustainable as an innovator. Joy has to be a part of what we do in the classroom and with our students. And so I want to start by kind of saying something that might sting, it might hurt. And that is, if you aren't experiencing joy in the classroom, neither are your students. Oof. What does Dr. Michelle mean by that? What I mean by that is when I was a teacher, I was centering the joy of my students all the time. My goal was to blow their minds every single year. I wanted them to graduate from high school and look back on their K-12 experience and be like, first and second grade, those were the best years, right? Probably not realistic, but that's what my goal was every year when I started. I was so worried and so preoccupied with centering their joy that I didn't center my own. I wasn't nurturing that relationship, right, with the teaching profession. And what I want to offer you today and what I want to encourage you to do is to center your joy in the classroom. Why? Because you set the stage of the emotion in that classroom. You are the emotion barometer. How you feel impacts everything that happens. And if you're not experiencing your joy, I can tell you that probably neither are your students. And that if you're not experiencing joy on some level, it's not sustainable. Joy is central to your sustainability in the classroom, okay? It is central. It has to be a part of the little things that we do. People often ask me, even outside of education, I'm a leader and I want to integrate more joy into the classroom. What do I do? And I say there's 3 things. Number 1, gratitude. Incorporate a practice of gratitude in what you do on a daily basis. Gratitude is a prerequisite for joy. When you experience joy, when you experience gratitude, you open yourself up to joy. Okay? Second, celebrate. We're good with celebrating our students, but what are we doing to celebrate ourselves? Yes, spa day. I'm here for the spa day. Yes. So celebrate ourselves. What we do in education is we set a goal, we get to that goal, and then we just move the goalpost. Nothing even happens. We don't even do anything. We're like, oh yeah, we did this. Okay, good. Here's the next thing. But what are we doing to celebrate ourselves? And celebrate the big things, celebrate the little things, celebrate everything. And lastly, play. Right? Play game. Gamify everything. Kids need games, but so do adults. And there's something about playing games and being in the act of play that puts you in the present moment that is critical for joy to happen. Okay, and the last thing I want to share with you is that joy and struggle can coexist. And I'm bringing this idea and this frame specifically in this moment, in a moment in time where politics are unstable, education is unstable. The communities that we serve, are going to experience struggle. We're experiencing struggle. But we can't experience that struggle without also experiencing joy. We have to bring joy into this if we're going to make it through this time. So what can we do to service ourselves, to bring that joy into our lives, and that joy and struggle can coexist? Okay, so we're going to lean into that by celebrating ourselves. Yes, ma'am. We are going to celebrate ourselves. So what I want you to do, I'm going to give you the directions and then I'm going to release you. First, I know about this crowd. I'm going to give you the directions and then we're going to release you. I want you to close your eyes and think of something that you're proud of. Something that you're proud of. It could be a big thing. It could be a little thing. It could be big, like I just got my master's degree. It could be big, like I just applied to a doctorate program. It could be big, like I'm going to start a school, right? Or it could be small, Like, I food prepped this week. I mean, let's give it to the food prep. Or I didn't snooze my alarm. Right? Small things. Celebrate everything. Small, big. Okay? I want you to think about that. Then we're going to stand up, and then we're going to share it with each other. And then on the count of 3, we're going to say, you did what? That's fire. Okay? And then we're going to have a 30-minute dance party. We're going to close this out. Okay, so first, think in your head for a second. Think and give yourself time about something that you want to celebrate. Something that you want to celebrate, big or small. Stand up. Turn to the person next to you and share it. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You did what? That's fire. Dance party.
Peace
Ready?
up, A-Town.
Ready.
Yeah. Okay. Hush.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about before we close this out. Number 1, at the end of this keynote is a feedback form. Please fill out my feedback form. As you know, Teachers of Color Matter is low-key under attack right now, and your feedback matters. Please take the time to fill that out. You will receive 2 freebies if you fill that out, and I would really appreciate it. And second, I want to review the secret sauce, okay? We're going to review the secret sauce, and the ingredients for the secret sauce are community, wellness, joy, and we're going to review that by doing some affirmations together. First one is, I can align myself with colleagues that share my values. Repeat after me. Can align myself with colleagues that appreciate my values. Thank you. Wellness. I put myself first so that I have more of myself to give. I put myself first so I have more of myself to give. Joy. Nothing can steal my joy. Thank you. And with that, I want to welcome you to the mountaintop of the Deeper Learning Conference. Woo! Thank you so much. Go back into your schools and your classrooms and make the change that I know you are capable of. You are amazing, and thank you so much. Woo! Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
Let's give Dr. Heather Michelle one more round of applause. Y'all, we got to do body work with Jason. We got to do breath work and joy work with Dr. Heather Michelle, laughter work. We've got mind work from all of our workshops and deep dives. So I feel like we are ready to go back into our context. And I know we end with closing conference karaoke. That's happening. So it's happening. But we just got to do our thank yous first. So first we want to, and I'll just list them all and then we'll clap all at the same time. So our student ambassadors, our PIT crew, our advisors, the Deeper Learning Design crew, our operations team, Banyan Catering, our facilities crew, our IT crew, Sound Image, Made It Media, 100 Helping Hands, all the people. Let's thank them for all of their hard work. Beautiful. And then we are going to announce all of the dates for the upcoming Deeper Learning Globals. And while I'm doing that, because I know you can do more than one thing at a time, this is for the feedback raffle. You know, there's a winner every single year. You get a free Deeper Learning registration ticket for next year. You know, these tickets be expensive. So if you want a free ticket, go ahead and fill out that raffle. We actually gave out 2 last year. There were 2 winners. So if you want to win, go ahead and fill that out. And as you're doing that, I'm going to let you know about all of the upcoming Deeper Learning. So May, just a couple of months from now, we have Deeper Learning LATAM in Medellin, Colombia. We've got our reps here. I was there last year. There was a 12-piece salsa orchestra on the final night of the party. I almost missed my flight. Like, oh my gosh, Medellin is a vibe. If you are not registered, you need to. I'm going again this year. Huepa. Oh, and gracias, Dani, por mis aretes. She just got me these beautiful earrings from Colombia. Okay, bueno. Oh, okay, let me stay focused. Deeper Learning New York was also a vibe. Tina Schuster told us that they lived it up. So Deeper Learning New York is happening in July. Please be there. BOCES is all about that life. We have Deeper Learning Twin Cities, also known as Remix Ed. That is happening in October. There we got Tony Simmons in the back. So please, please, please attend that one. We have Deeper Learning China, our longest running Deeper Learning Global. It's there, it's happening. They're actually accepting proposals right now. So if you are interested, and they cover your travel to get there. Wait, is that true? They cover your travel to get to China. So if you want to go to China, put in a proposal for Deeper Learning China. We've got Deeper Learning Japan is happening in January. Let's give it up for that. So if you always wanted to go to Japan, do some deeper learning there, we're ready for you. And then, of course, save the date for Deeper Learning San Diego. It's going to be Tuesday through Thursday, March 31st through April 2nd. We'll see you back here. And I just want to shout out the crew. I don't know if they're still here, but they got me these matches that say, F around and find out. And I'm so grateful. I cannot wait to burn these. All right. Okay, so I know people have got flights to get to, so we are going to now transition into our closing karaoke. Zach, if you're still here, I would love for you to come on stage. But anyone who wants to come on stage for our closing karaoke, and we chose this song, Proud Mary, because we know that this unexpected complexity is going to continue. But what we mean by we're going to keep rolling, we're going to keep doing right by young people. We're going to continue to maintain that critical hope, that cultural humility, and that catalytic joy. So we're going to keep rolling with those three ways of being in the midst of whatever we got to, face when we get back home. So we would love for people to join us on the stage. And Gabe, if you could get our closing karaoke ready, let's do it, friends. Rolling, rolling on a river. And we wrote a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. And I never lost 1 minute of sleeping, worrying about the way things might have been. Big wheels keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning, and we're rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Alexis, if you don't get up here. Cleaned a lot of plates in Memphis. Mark, come on. Pumped a lot of things down in New Orleans. But I never saw the good side of the city till I hitched a ride on a riverboat queen. Wheels keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river, rolling, rolling, rolling. Gabe, can you turn this up? Turn this up, Gabe. Turn it up.
Rolling, rolling on the river. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Lot of plays in Memphis. Pumped a lot of things down in New Orleans, but I never saw the good side of a city till I hit the ride on the river. The wheels keep on turning, proud Mary keep on turning, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river.